What about religion in prison?
Um, it changed after 9/11,
In
and
what way?
um, in the old days, prior to 2001 and 2004-5, Shaun, when I went to Long Lartin, it all started to change. So where you had the old white Cockney, you know, bigger white people from up north running the Cays, now a new bunch had come, and religion was an integral part of the living. So I was around it, the 7-7 copycats, the Sheikh, a couple of the big names that are always on the front page. They were in Long Lartin on the detainee wing.
So double A is like Supermax then.
Supermax. Everyone that's ever been on the front page is there to start with, unless the systems change a bit now. Sure, and sometimes they go straight to a B, but in them days, anything with a bit of violence or seriousness to it, you always have to pass through the Cat A's. It's a bit more restricted now to more higher up lifers, with big tariffs and that kind of stuff, Sean. But
So people like the 7-7 bombers then, what were they like to interact with?
they was when I left Whitemore, I'd done about 4 or 5 years there, Sean, in one go. And when I reached Long Lartin, it was much more not open as Whitemore, but there's more blind spots where it's older and you can go underground a bit more, and they can't pick up on camera and that kind of stuff, Sean. So basically, I was having an affair with a female member of staff there. Another member of staff was bringing stuff in.
Are you able to say how that affair came about?
Yeah, it started with they wanted me to, because I went to see, they wanted me to see a psychiatrist. So they were saying that they thought I was a bit of a loon kind of thing at first, but that's what I was explaining to you earlier. In the Cat A's, they got 3 sayings, Sean: mad, bad, and sad. So when I've had the discussion with, when they come to see me, I said, so what category am I then? And she said, you're sad. Because there were bits of love that it's borderline. So yours is more of a sad case. I said, okay. She goes, would you be to talk about stuff and da-da-da? I said, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing some form of counselling or whatever. But the counselling didn't really take place, because after a couple of sessions, we ended up kissing in the room. I was wondering, Sean, should I make the move? Because I'm not good at making moves on.
Who did make the move?
We both did at the same time. So it was all a bit stumbly and a bit nervy, and then just at the same time. But then,
What did she look like?
she was all right, Sean. Nice lady, really. And she was telling me, giving me info about what the screws were planning on me, and da-da-da-da-da, Sean.
What were they planning on you?
They were doing some terrible stuff to me, Sean, like they always have. And, where I was happy, free, and, everybody else is getting stabbed around me, and they're more concerned with how come you're not getting stabbed kind of thing. How come you always slip the net? And they try to tell some inmates that I didn't get along with, saying that, oh, yeah, he's snitching and da-da-da, but it was all lies. So they were trying to get me done. So when she told me this, I said, well, I'll have to start making moves, Sean, to block what they're doing, because you'll get some people, these rumours can get me killed. So
Snitch jackets are serious, yeah.
see what I mean, Sean? And then, Sean, yeah, I converted. I took my Shahada. I was always godly anyway, but I used to read the Bible for the church there, just as a part-time thing, because I was a good reader for that kind of stuff, the scriptures and everything, Sean, but I wasn't religious. So I joined, and a lot of people were getting attacked in gangs. And, there was one scenario where the big man came and saw me, and, a lot of people were converting, but they're not. We know that it's just a chess move to get protection, because so that they've got backup when they get their other old fights, and more people are joining for the sake of the religion and whatnot. It really changed, very, very serious, Sean. And things like, we was on the 5-a-side pitch in the gym, and it was Muslim religion versus the rest kind of thing, and there was a little scuffle, and the big sheikh Abu Qatada, who got deported, and he was under house arrest for how many years over here without being charged. And I thought he was a kind man, actually. He never used to speak at all. And when they were breaking up the scuffle, a member of the other side pulled his beard, like to break it up, like pulled his, his religious beard, and what he takes time out. And all the brothers were really, really upset about it. And when we got back to the wing, they were saying, right, we need to stalk Margarine. And they balled it up, put hoods on their head and come round the spur and threw the hot fat over the geezer. So that was the second time I see someone burning. And Shaun, it was heavy. And he was a nice fella as well. And Shaun, yeah, that happened. And then, my name was in the frame for that. It wasn't me. He knows it wasn't me. And then about a week later, a couple of weeks before that happened on the five-a-side pitch, the sheikh said to me, you have to prove yourself to be and blah, blah, blah. So I went down the gym and I dropped a weight on someone's head, Shaun. And they said, right, you're in. And I did it.
Did that person have it coming?
Yeah, well, he had problems with a few of them people, but not really coming. But obviously he was disrespecting the religion. And they look at that, the brothers would look at that as really serious. But yeah, I've done the job. I've done that one. I was down a seg for it for a couple of months. Then I came back up, and another man from Nottingham got stabbed in his head as well during that time. And he run past me and slipped on his own blood, Shaun. They blocked me for that. That wasn't me. So, and in fact, they told me not to. I said, I'll do that one for you. And they said, no, don't do it. You've done your bit. We'll do this for you, the younger ones kind of thing. But it changed, Shaun. And all the ones that used to be the hierarchy of the prison system in the Cat A's were no longer. It was the old religious man with the beard that had the final say.
That is exactly what Darren G just told us on the podcast before this one.
Oh.
His brother Danny has converted. He's IPP'd. Don't know whenever he's ever going to get out.
Yeah.
And Darren said that there was disunity amongst the whites and the only loyalty was with the brothers.
The safest bet, Shaun. No one likes to admit it. And there's been a couple of people well known as well that didn't convert, and they're vegetables now. They got attacked, and I feel quite sad for one of them, but he's never going to be the same again.
Why do you feel sad?
Because obviously he told them, listen, I'm not like the rest, I'm not converting. And, during that stage there, 5 of them, he was told not to go on that landing, that spur from the seg. They warned him, but he still turned up to have it with them all. And 5 of them jumped all over him, and he's a cabbage now. I know. And that. But, that kind of stuff, Shaun, was pretty. A lot of the old baddie ones in prison were getting done at that stage by the Muslim religious thing. And I'm a godly man, Shaun, and I did it straight for a good 6 months, clean, and I was praying 5 times a day, and I really enjoyed it. The real ones that I met, 7-7s, the plain ones, the liquid bombings, the other, the 2 big sheikhs, the ones they talk about on the front page all the time. Everyone was there. Anyone you could think of that was, when it first started in the Cat A's for the Muslim Brotherhood, I was there with them all. And I witnessed it. So the authorities were blaming me because they were saying I was going around converting all the white people and that kind of stuff, Shaun. But they were just trying to get me back, Shaun. And at the end of the day, Shaun, what other chess moves or moves could I have done when they were trying to get me killed anyway? But,
so in America, it's structured in racial gangs.
Yeah.
And the absolute priority of the gangs is the drugs business.
Yeah.
So is that the case in the UK?
Not with the Muslim Brotherhood. The real ones won't be involved in drugs. When they came to see me, the spooks, they asked me, they said, how can they know that you take drugs? They send you in money, they give you food. What's so different about you, Yammy? Because obviously they had information, Shaun, that Long Larton told head office, the Home Office, that I was going to come out with a rucksack and blow up somewhere for the brothers. And they took it serious. So they were waiting for me at the gate, Shaun.
How does that work, waiting for you at the gate?
So I got shipped out when I had 16 weeks left of my sentence, or 6 months, Shaun. Quote me there. I went to a London jail, Pentonville, for local discharge. And then one morning they said, you've got a visitor in the room on the centre. Someone from Home Office got. So her name was Lindsay. She had red hair. And she turned up with the officers and said, yeah, I've been told that I've got to do a life history on you because you fit the criteria with your childhood as a suicide bomber, and where you've done things for gear. People think that all they got to do is say that they love you and you'll do it. So that's the way that they looked at me, Shaun. And when I was out my nut a couple of times, I went around telling everyone, don't worry, when I get out, I'll do it for you. But really, I wasn't being serious.
So some people have dropped the dime.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long were you under review for?
She wanted to do a 6 to 8 week assessment once a week. And then the release came, Shaun, after she'd done 1, 2 or 3. I was saying, listen, I'm not a fanatic, I'm not a radical and blah, blah, blah and all that. So I'd been out of touch because when you're in the Cat A, Shaun, you don't hear a lot about the B's and the C's and the way the system changed the license, and this mapper thing came out, Shaun. And I didn't know about hostels and approved premises and being on restrictions. Normally you just come out and you can run around straight away. Or this time, all these new measures were put in place because people had been released on license and been committed horrific murders. So they changed the whole dynamics of license and risk. And even though my history is not with shooting people and, you know, untold violence and things on my pre-cons, in jail it is. And they're looking at it, Shaun, that they're looking at it with my character and everything. I'm saying, no, I'm not radical. So just as I got released, she goes, I'll be waiting for you at the... And when I come out the gate, I could not believe it, Shaun. So they, with the probation officer and blah, blah, she said, will you agree to be de-radicalised? I said, excuse me, I'm not really religious. But that's what Long Lartin told them. Again, because when I was getting on the sweatbox at Long Lartin, the governor came onto the sweatbox before I went on a local discharge, Shaun, and said, you found all this funny, Yammy, but it will all come back to bite you in the end. So I knew they were going to stitch me up, Shaun, because they knew perfectly well what it was. There's a lot of people trying to survive and you know, using religion, even though I was God-fearing anyway, and I did enjoy some of it. And, you know, I wanted to stay loyal to the brothers as well, but they were making it difficult for me, the staff, by making it look like that I wasn't loyal. You know, so I had to use my institutional skills to get out of it as well. And they were wondering and worrying that, you know, that I was getting off with a couple of female members of staff there. And because they couldn't believe how I could keep blocking what they were trying to do. They were thinking, well, how does he know? I know, Shaun, but really no one was telling me. I was working it all out on my bed at night.
Did you have to go through the motions of de-radicalisation?
No, Shaun. We got out, went to Beckenham Hostel, and she was waiting. I said, look, why won't you listen to me? She goes, you tell me this, Yammy. How is it that everyone's scared of you? The staff, the thing. I said, I'm not no Charlie Bronson or nothing. I'm just a raving lunatic who takes something now and again and I go crackers. I said, it's not really, why you should be giving me a rehab or offering me help. No one's ever offered me no help, Shaun. And she went, no, we put you at the top of the tree because you know full well what you're doing. Because you get everything for free on limited resources. No one can survive it the way that you've done it. And most of the time you've been on your own, Shaun. But Shaun, anyway, she come with that. The probation was there. They put me on 3 curfews, one at 1 o'clock, one at 4 o'clock, all the way in Beckenham. I can't see no family. It's too far away and everything. And I met that Only Connect Emma Kruger before I got out. So I done a small theatre production during that time called... I had to play a retired cage fighter. So that was my first play. And that went on to the public as well. It's a very small thing, but really, really enjoyable, Shaun. And after that, obviously the project was getting involved in schools, but I was only out 3 months again, Shaun, on those curfews. And the probation, she tried to come up on the follow-up meetings to have my assessment. And the probation man in the hostel looked at her one day and said, listen to me. It is all completely Coswell. I'll put my job on the line. I've looked at him closely and his character and everything. There is absolutely no way. And she didn't come. But what they did, Shaun, they left me on them curfews. And one day I thought Notting Hill Carnival was there. And I thought, I'm going to have a night out. I don't give a monkeys. And then come back the next day to the hostel. So what I did is, it was too late to go back. I got stuck in the crowd, and I was dancing by the funky house bit, dancing and giving the 2-finger sign up to all of them. But the 2-finger sign was back on me in the morning, because when I went back, my kit was packed. She goes, "Oh, you got to go to the police station. You've been recalled." And I said, "How long will that be for?" They said, "It won't be long." And I walked in there, Shaun. They left me in there for 2.5 years for being late.
Double A cat again.
No, straight to Parkhurst, in the middle of nowhere, and they sent Long Light and police, all them lot. They kept, and the spooks, all of them were visiting me, asking things about what was happened, and they're hearing that it was me that created all the drama and all that kind of stuff. Shaun had to go through. It was all complete nonsense, Shaun.